to prove to jurors that the president signed on a mandatory gun purchase form.
Good morning.
Unlawful user
full day. Got a lot of interviews.
And an FBI case.
Got to do sports ball. Ooh, sports ball.
Highlighting the seriousness of his drug problem.
All right, we have Mavericks versus the Celtics and MLB. We've got A's, Dodgers, Giants. The Giants play. Back to Padres. Giants didn't play.
Secret Service says security plans for the Republican National Convention are still being determined as protesters blasted restrictions they claim will violate free speech. Roughly 30,000 are expected in Milwaukee next month when former President Donald Trump is slated to become the Republican Party's official presidential nominee. Large-scale demonstrations are expected, and most protesters will be allowed to the downtown Fiserv Forum convention site is up in the air. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheeto.
What else we got here? I'm looking outside because make sure I'm on mute. Local celebrity Mark S. Allen is out there filming with the Auburn State Theater, Cocktails and Cinema. We're going to have them in here at 6:45. I hope they remember that. And I cannot remember the girl's name. Is it Kathy? Is it Christy? I can't remember.
But we're prepared to address this. Air perimeter that the Secret Service is going to provide the map for in a couple of weeks. That inner perimeter will be a weapon.
Girls honorable mention list. We'll talk about that. Do I need anything else for this page? No. Full day.
Protesters back farther from the site than had originally been planned, arguing that an existing plan, quote, creates an elevated and untenable safety risk to the public. Mayor Cavalier Johnson, spokesperson, said the city hosted online signups for groups to demonstrate, and more than 70 have done so. He said final details will come within weeks. The New York Governor Kathy Hochul is facing backlash after she halted a plan this week to charge most motorists $15 to enter the core of Manhattan, upending the nation's first ever congestion pricing system weeks before it was set to launch. The announcement dealt a stunning blow to a program years in the making.
So after careful consideration,
okay, here we go.
Decision, implementing the planned congestion pricing system.
Karen Cleek.
Too many unintended consequences for New Yorkers at this time. For that reason,
Chrissy Kelly,
I have directed the
Bear River, volleyball,
program.
basketball, softball.
Shockwaves through the political circles while raising questions among transportation advocates about how the paper badly needed transit upgrades. Protesters kept by Hochul's office.
Okay.
Even though the subway are going to be hurt by this, so we just came out here today and said, tell the governor not to fall back in the train.
Okay, 612, Fox Business Report, local event.
But first and foremost, it's going to make more people lose faith in Democrats. Like, are you trying what you actually want to do? Are you trying to cater for more votes?
As the plan neared, it drew increasing pushback from commuters
Let's see who we're going to shout out.
suburbs.
Roseville, 62, looking for 9 today of 94. We'll do that. And then what are we going to... Oh, community events.
First news with Matt Ray.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually, 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body.
Farmers Marketplace.
Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we're helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy Total Wellness.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:14 a.m. And good morning to you, Roseville. Currently 62 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 94 degrees. All right, let's turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
And this is the Fox Business Report.
NVIDIA shares are up more than 1% this morning after its stock closed at a record yesterday, and it became the second most valuable company behind only Microsoft. Chinese electric vehicle maker NIO lost money in its recent quarter, a larger loss than a year ago. NIO is blaming lower vehicle sales, weaker average selling prices, and seasonal effects, though it is predicting deliveries will more than double in coming months. The Teamsters Union has formally affiliated with the Amazon Labor Union, which represents roughly 8,000 warehouse workers at a facility in Staten Island. There's another sign that Americans are cutting back on buying furniture. Hooker Furnishings lost money in its recent quarter. Higher interest rates have made furniture more expensive. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Cosella, invested in you.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's.
All right, here we go.
American Humane.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. Very proud to have placed as runner-up in the category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. Let's talk about another event for the calendar gang. Are you looking for a night out? It's a Friday. Well, it's going to be in a couple of Fridays. Friday, June 21st. It's game night at the Farmers Marketplace. That's right. Games will be provided, or bring your own. You can bring board games, card games, and don't forget to bring a good time. All right. You got to bring a good time there. Create memories with friends and family. So many people I talk to love to play board games. You would never know it just looking at them, but then they're like, come on, my favorite board game? Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing that we play board games? It absolutely is. So go out to game night. It's going to be at the Farmers Marketplace. Now, you can RSVP online at their website, and that's thefarmersmarketplace.com, thefarmersmarketplace.com. You can also call them 916-390-7628. The event is free. Come hang out, play games. Now, they will have snacks and beverages for purchase, or you can bring your own. Again, it's going to be June 21st. It's a Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Farmers Marketplace. Chris, that's great. You've told me all this information. Where the heck is it? I don't know where to find this place. Well, let me tell you. It's going to be at 195 Elm Avenue here in Auburn. 195 Elm Avenue, June 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. Game night at the Farmers Marketplace, thefarmersmarketplace.com, RSVP online. Back with more after this. Back with more after this.
The largest selection of American-made furniture, and it's all on sale now. The absolute best living
Such a
rooms,
radio guy.
bedrooms, dining rooms, mattresses, home office, and more. See, in every apartment. And we're proud to offer so many choices. There's a special sale, Nature Room. You know, the building with the water wheel.
Tell them Brooklyn Nova and Orion sent you.
Hello, KAHI listeners. This is Ann Hidalgo, your host of Time for Seniors. Hearing us 6 a.m. on Saturday. Senior resource concerning seniors. We talk health, financial, current scams, hear inspirational stories, and laugh at ourselves a little. So 10 Saturdays at noon on FM 104.5 and AM 950, KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Sports Ball. My goodness gracious. We'll keep you updated there. Later on this hour, we're going to talk to the folks from the Auburn State Theater about cocktails and cinema coming up this weekend. Lots going on today. I'll see you back here after this.
Good Friday morning, American Sports News. suspects were arrested Thursday after authorities found more than 24 migrants who'd been driven from the border packed in the secret compartment of a trailer with little water and sweltering heat. San Antonio Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar told a news conference authorities began following the trailer after a tip.
This morning, we received information that there was a smuggling operation in effect, that several dozen people were being smuggled. What we knew is that it was some sort of the smuggling method was some sort of a long gooseneck trailer that was being utilized. So we were able to establish surveillance on it as it was moving this way. Our undercovers from our transnational group, from the organized crime unit, were able to get eyes on the trailer as it came into the location. Obviously, not much by way of water. So hence the medical emergencies, the heat-related injuries that we have. Once we verified that there had been people in a trailer, the quick concern for us became, what's their medical condition like? So we actually went in under exigent circumstances to safeguard, make sure that nobody within there was critically ill or even worse, dying. So right now, aside from the 26 victims that we have 7 suspects under arrest that were involved in the smuggling operation itself. So of those 11, they've all been taken to area hospitals. The remaining 19, I believe, are going to be taken in for questioning. At present, we don't know who is going to be arrested, if they have any additional going to jail as a result of the operation itself.
Salazar blamed Mexican cartels for the operation that broke up Thursday, noting bulletproof vests and rifles were found on the property. Some of the people found at the residence ran, but authorities believe they caught everyone involved. San Antonio was the site of the nation's deadliest human smuggling episode in June of 2022. 53 migrants, including 8 children, died after being trapped in a sweltering semi-trailer that had been driven from the border city of Laredo. Donald Trump returned to the campaign trail Thursday with a trip to Arizona, his first appearance in a battleground state since he was convicted in a hush money scandal, repeating his critiques of the case against him as politically motivated and calling for his conviction to be overturned on appeal.
We have to change the system. We have to straighten out what's going on in the sports. We got a rigged deal going this whole country, and we've got to do it. And those appellate courts have to step up and straighten things out, or we're not going to have a country any longer. But we're going to win the great state of Arizona, and we're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're doing a lousy job, the worst job.
Trump is expected to appeal last month's conviction on all 34 charges in his New York hush money trial, in which he became the first former American president to be convicted of felony crimes. Trump focused much of the speech on the U.S.-Mexico border, blaming a litany of problems from inflation to the long-term health of Social Security on illegal immigration. He made an absurd claim about migrants speaking languages nobody's ever heard of while pushing the Great Replacement theory.
I would be the first one that would have done it. And I wouldn't be having 50% jail populations. I'd be down to 0. They'd all be in the United States of America getting money for all of the different things that they get. They get cell phones, they get hospitalization, they get education. Even though they can't speak a word of English, they're taking the seats of people and the instructors talking English. And they have somebody speaking, in some cases, languages that we've never even heard of. You know, there are a lot of languages that we don't have here. We have nobody that even speaks these languages.
Trump is criticizing President Joe Biden's executive action on the border this week, called Biden weak and pathetic. Biden hit back on ABC News.
Does he describe himself? Weak and pathetic? Look, everybody knows what's happened. We had a deal. It was much broader than this, much better, much more accepted across the board. And he got on the phone and told the Republicans, don't support it. It will hurt me, it will help Biden. But one thing for certain is stop undermining the rule of law. Stop undermining the institutions. That's what this whole effort is. All the MAGA Republicans are coming out saying this was a fix, this was a jury, that this was a good judge that set up to get Trump. There's no evidence of any of that. None. He's trying to undermine it. Look, he got a fair trial. The jury spoke like they speak in all cases, and it should be respected.
It's unclear whether Biden's efforts will be enough to change the minds of voters who've increasingly voiced alarm over the record influx of migrants on his watch. Polls have found immigration and border security to be a top issue this election year. Biden's executive action has also laid bare divisions among Democrats, with some left-leaning lawmakers and immigration advocates that form a key part of his coalition. A longtime ally of former President Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, must report to prison by July 1st to serve his 4-month sentence for defying the subpoena from the House committee that investigated the U.S. Capitol insurrection. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols in Washington granted the Justice Department's request to make Bannon begin his prison term after a federal appeals court panel last month upheld his contempt of Congress conviction. Bannon blames a political conspiracy theory for his legal problem, making inane assumptions as he took a victory lap for being sent to jail.
Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, the entire Justice Department. They're not going to shut up Trump. They're not going to shut up Navarro. They're not going to shut up Bannon, and they're certainly not going to shut up MAGA. If you look right here, you reporters, in the 2.5 or 3 years we've been here, look at the rise of MAGA. Look at the rise of Donald Trump. If the election was held today, according to Harry Etten over at CNN, President Trump would win in a landslide. All of this, besides the major legal issues that have to be addressed, all of this is about one thing. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement, shutting down grassroots conservatives, shutting down President Trump. Not only are we winning, we are going to prevail. And every number and every poll shows that. There's nothing that can shut me up and nothing that will shut me up. There's not a prison built. There's not a prison built or jail built that will ever shut me up.
Bannon likely won't be able to do his podcast from jail. He's expected to seek a stay of the judge's order, which could delay his surrender date. Boeing's new capsule arrived at the International Space Station on Thursday, delayed by last-minute thruster trouble that almost derailed the docking for the first test flight with astronauts. The 260-mile-high link-up over the Indian Ocean culminated in a day of continuing drama for Boeing's astronaut flight debut, carrying NASA test pilots Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams.
The spacecraft is now aligned with the International Docking Adapter on the Node 2 forward port. That's its intended destination today. Teams on the ground hot-fired 4 of the reaction control system thrusters. These are located on a service module. And we are coming up on 30 meters from the International Space Station, getting a beautiful view now of Starliner as it continues its approach.
The Starliner capsule already had one small helium leak when it rocketed into orbit Wednesday. Boeing and NASA managers were confident they could manage the propulsion system, despite the problem and that more leaks were unlikely. Thrusters also malfunctioned. SpaceX's NASA taxi service began in 2020. Boeing was supposed to start around the same time, but it's been held up for years by safety concerns and other troubles. Thousands of North Carolinians waiting to receive their driver's license could get their new cards by the end of the month, according to an announcement Thursday by the North Carolina Division of Motor Vehicles. More than 350,000 physical licenses and ID cards have been delayed for up to 8 weeks, but the North Carolina Division of Motor Vehicles commissioner said during a State House Oversight and Reform Committee hearing that the end of the backlog may be in sight possibly before June 30th. A coding error in February impacted about 2,100 cards, which resulted in the card manufacturer Idemia pausing production for at least a week. When production began again, the DMV had a 12-day backlog for credentials. Since then, Idemia added a second production facility, helping reduce the backlog. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. You've got America's First News. Good Friday morning.
Breaking news first, America's First News. With Matt Ray. We'll be right back.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. Totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Would your car perform better with premium gas or regular? What do octane ratings mean? I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor, your automotive prescription, right after this.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with DEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Today's modern vehicle, whether it's a car, SUV, or light truck, is designed with a specific fuel in mind. Read your owner's manual. What octane rating does the vehicle manufacturer call for? That's what you should use. But there are exceptions to the rule. Many high-end or luxury vehicles call for premium or higher octane fuel. And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel system cleaners in premium fuel. Gasoline companies know too carbon deposits, so they pack more cleaning power into their premium fuel than their regular blend. If you rotate your fuel choices around, say,
here we go.
Make better performance and miles per gallon because you are cleaning your engine.
Why that
and
kicked
fuel
off
system
right
while
there.
you drive. Just don't tell your mechanic you're trying to replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Ananian and the Car Doctor. See you next time.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th, and it is 30 minutes past the hour, right smack dab at the bottom of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Shingle Springs. Currently, it is 64 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 92 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. First game of the NBA Finals. Are you following this, or do you care about this? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It was the Mavericks versus the Celtics, in case you were wondering who was in the NBA Finals. This is it, gang. This is the big showdown. This is it for the season. Celtics versus the Mavericks. Game 1 goes to Boston. Boston on top there, 107-89. Very decidedly there. It is now 1-0 in the NBA Finals in Boston's favor. Headed over to the major leagues. A's played the Mariners yesterday. Mariners and A's wrapping up a 3-game series there at home for the A's. Mariners sail away with that one like Enya. Sail away, sail away. They won that one 3-0. A's start a new series at home today versus the Blue Jays. Toronto, they're going to start the game at 6:40 p.m. Radio start time here on KAHI is at 6 o'clock tonight. So check that out here again tonight. We've got an evening game. Nothing like baseball on the radio in the evenings. Again, A's are going to start a new home series against the Blue Jays today. At 6 p.m. is the radio start time, and the first pitch will be at 6:40 p.m. tonight. So make sure you check all that out. Dodgers versus the Pirates. Oh, Dodgers win that one 11-7. Braves versus the Nationals. Braves on top there, 11-2. Twins versus the Yankees. Yankees, they win that one 8-5. Rockies versus the Cardinals. Rockies on top there, 3-2. I don't see the Giants. Oh, Diamondbacks versus the Padres. That's not the Giants, but D-backs versus the Padres. Diamondbacks win that by 1, 4-3. Royals versus the Guardians. Royals on top there. There's another score of 4-3. Royals win that one. Going locally here, I've got the Auburn Journal in my hot little hands. We're talking about the Auburn Journal's Girls Athlete of the Year honorable mention list. Today we mentioned Chrissy Kelly of Bear River. Honorable mention in volleyball, basketball, and softball. Kelly averaged 16.9 points per game for the Bruins, helping lead them to their 12th season championship in girls basketball. She was a nightmare for opposing pitchers in softball, batting 3.371 with 23 hits and 24 RBIs. Kelly picked up 107 kills and 83 aces in volleyball. So congratulations to Chrissy Kelly of Bear River for being a honorable mention in this year's Girl Athlete of the Year in the Auburn Journal. Back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Saturdays and Sundays right here, 104.5 FM, AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Johnny Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishing on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Good Friday morning. Unfortunately, mostly sunny skies. Still rather hot today, but a little bit cooler. Temperatures in the low 90s. And the southwest wind up to maybe 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear, 55 to 62 overnight. And a little bit cooler for the weekend. Mostly sunny Saturday and Sunday. We'll be in the mid-to-upper 80s each afternoon and light southwest winds. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
33 minutes past a.m. If I pull up the right channel there we go. We've got there. Hey, we're going to be talking cocktails and cinema in our next segment here with Auburn State Theater. Lots going on out there. I think Mark S. Allen is out there doing some. Not a dull moment today, gang. We'll be back right after America's First News here.
With Matt Ray on the TNN Radio Network.
Good Friday morning, America's First News continues 34 minutes past the hour. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to address a joint meeting of Congress on July 24th, setting the stage for what's expected to be a contentious speech at a crucial. To come speak before lawmakers last week. It is the most recent show of wartime support for the longtime ally, despite mounting political divisions over Israel's military assault on Hamas in Gaza. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said CIA Director Bill Burns was in Doha this week, consulting with Qatar's Prime Minister about ongoing negotiations.
The proposal as described this proposal that Israel accepted before and continues to accept today, and the ball's in Hamas's court as to whether they're going to accept it or not. Now, we are waiting for a response from Hamas. The president said in his speech, not that Hamas accepted the proposal, but that they should. So he acknowledged on Friday, Hamas may choose that they think it's just better to let the war and the suffering and the violence continue. That wouldn't be terribly out of character for a vicious and brutal terrorist group. But what we hope they will do in the end is see that the best pathway to an end to this war, the return of all the hostages, a surge of humanitarian assistance, is to accept this proposal. President Biden touched on this in his speech on Friday, and what he said was straightforward. A ceasefire in Gaza can lead to a calm on the border between Israel and Lebanon, an end to the exchanges of fire that have destabilized, but beyond that have caused death and destruction on both sides of the border.
An Israeli strike early Thursday on a school sheltering displaced Palestinians in central Gaza killed at least 33 people, including 12 women and children, according to local health officials. The Israeli military said Hamas militants were operating from within the school. It was the latest instance of mass casualties among Palestinians trying to find refuge as Israel expands its offensive. The United Nations top humanitarian official is leaving his post at the end of the month, feeling frustrated because many crises no longer make the headlines. All humanitarian operations face a dire lack of funding. Martin Griffith told a news conference the world is worse now than it was just 3 years ago, as international dialogue is broke down and too many are interested in power rather than helping.
I leave this job with a sense of work unfulfilled because the world is a worse place now than when I joined up in 2021. The humanitarian situation in Sudan has grown worse, and it is a place where two men basically decided that they were going to resolve their differences through fight, that they were going to take the country down, that we have a situation where highly likely we will have up to 5 million Sudanese people at risk of famine. So we are not resolving conflicts. We are not using dialogue where we had committed ourselves to using dialogue. And the founders of the UN back in 1945, in those words, the Charter, saving subsequent generations from the scourge of war, we're failing them. Right, left, and center.
Griffith said some 300 million people worldwide need humanitarian assistance as donor funding has been reduced, noting big crises in Gaza, Sudan, and Ukraine are taking the spotlight while suffering continues in Syria, Yemen, and Haiti. Fresh from declaring victory in India's election, Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered few details on the agenda for his third term, but went out of his way to underline he would continue to focus on raising the country's military preparedness and clout. That should come as good news to the United States and its other allies as they focus increasingly on keeping China's sweeping maritime plans and growingly assertive behavior in the Indo-Pacific region in check. Modi told a crowd of supporters at his party's headquarters after election results came in, the government will focus on expanding defense production and exports. Turning to sports this morning, and Jaylen Brown had 22 points. Kristaps Porzingis added 20 in his first game in more than a month. And the Boston Celtics powered past the Dallas Mavericks 107-89 Thursday night in Game 1 finals. Despite the lopsided score, Jason Tatum told ESPN's Lisa Salters Boston had to regain control in the third quarter.
I say it all the time. It's a game of run. This is the NBA Finals. They're not going to go away easy. And we just have to respond. We did a really good job of that.
Luka got his, but no one else really did, and he had just one assist, wasn't really able to facilitate. What were you guys doing defensively just to kind of limit his game?
Obviously somebody like that's going to score and get his points. Our job is to try to limit the other guys as much as we possibly can.
You've talked about how your game has grown, how you don't have to be consumed with scoring to dominate a game. You finish with
Checking the
16
hair,
points, 11
checking the
rebounds,
hair,
5
making sure the
assists.
hair
What
looks
are you most
okay.
proud of about your personal statistics?
That we won. I had way too many turnovers. We gotta be a lot better. But, you know, we took care of the job tonight, get some rest, watch film, and see what we can do better for game 2.
Derek White had 15 points for Boston, which led by 29 in the first half and connected on 16 threes in a powerful start to its quest for an 18th NBA title. Porzingis, who had been sidelined since April 29th with a strained right calf, came off the bench and provided an immediate spark, adding 6 boards and 3 blocks in 21 minutes. Iga Swiatek continued her mastery over Coco Gauff and extended her winning streak in Paris to 20 matches with a 6-2, 6-4 victory in the French Open semifinals Thursday. The number 1 Swiatek improved to 11-1 overall against number 3 Gauff, reigning U.S. Open champ who got into it with the chair umpire.
I'm assuming we're here.
Yeah, do you want to just pop right in? We'll pop right in here, and we will hang out.
How's it going over there? It's definitely going. We were told to be here at 5 a.m.
It's the thing about early morning media. It's early in the morning.
Exactly.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know why I have Christy stuck in my head. It's
because we
were talking about that.
We were talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people call me Christy,
Yeah.
I know it's from high school.
High school. Like apparently I know you from high school. So okay, give me an official name and title again.
My name is Christine.
Christine.
Kristine. Last name Alcamo. Alcamo. And my title is house manager over at Auburn State Theater.
ALCAMO. Christine. Okay. I don't know. I always get. I'm like. It's. I know it's not Christy, but for some reason, I know we were talking the other day. Okay, and you're the stage or
house manager.
House manager. And my brain. Okay.
Beaver had 4 days off to try to right the ship. Last Saturday's run at Chicago Sky Guard Kennedy Carter created such a buzz that UConn coach Gino Auriemma told ESPN he believes Clark is being targeted and getting beat up.
So what did you think about the idea of doing, I know we chatted about it a little bit, but like doing do we want to do like a weekly or like a bi-weekly, like updates?
I want to
or
say bi-weekly just because the movies are every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We are out till August, but I don't want to go too far out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we have only 2 minutes, I can at least spend a minute.
Well, I mean, and we can do more than that if you want to.
Okay.
Like, we don't have to limit ourselves to that. I didn't want to like, it's like, oh my gosh, we got to fill all this time if that was going to be too much. So we can figure it out.
Yeah, and I just assumed that we would kind of.
Okay.
I'm pretty easy to tell. But you know, I like to. You know, whatever works.
Sure.
If you have any questions.
Well, I mean, I just pop in. We can just chat after because I was thinking because there's a so a personal trainer. So we have like an affiliation with CAC Fit here in town, the gym, and so like Brad, one of their personal trainers, he does like a Trainer Tuesday tip for me. So I'm like doing that. So I'm like, oh, do we do like a Film Friday or like a Theater Thursday, something like that, where we can just theme it? I don't know. I mean, and again, it doesn't have to be every week. Like, let's not try and force it.
Well, since we're Auburn State Theater, maybe it would be a
Theater
Thursday.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was driving in this morning, I'm like, Film Friday, Theater Thursday. I don't think too hard about it, but yeah, I think it'd be fun. Being a theater kid myself, growing up, like I love that. I know we've got films and stuff like that, but also if we can get live theater back in there too, I know there's a lot of work. We're going to get stuff back in there, but that'd be awesome. Also, watching, and I'm so bummed that I missed it. Disney Plus had a documentary on the Beach Boys right now, and I'm watching it with my son. He's 13, and they were talking about the crew. I'm like, my gosh, I wish I would have seen. I missed it when we played it here. I was like, man, we got to come back and see if we can catch that again.
And then we just had Muscle Shoals.
Oh.
So that was, I mean,
yeah. So I'm like, I see it there, and I'm like, I gotta get on the stick here because that would have been a great. So anyway, so now with my son, I'm like, we gotta find that thing about the Wrecking Crew, and talk about that. So all right, we got about just under a minute here, so we can go for I mean, we've got 15 minutes ish, and if we finish early, it's fine. If we go a little bit longer, it's fine. But thought we just, folks might know you, but just in case, like, introduce yourself. What the heck does a house manager do, right? Like, we'll just like something like that, just so folks know a little bit about. So anyway, I'll ask you that. Yeah, we'll kind of have fun with it. All right. Cool. But we'll spend a lot of time talking about cocktails and cinema. We'll talk about like what it was like here at 5 a.m. Mark S. Allen is out there. You guys are filming. We'll cover that. So, all right. I don't know.
Definitely.
It's improv.
I can do that.
Yeah, you got right.
I'm an actor.
I know. Yes, from one to another. Fantastic. I love it. And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Grass Valley. Currently, it is 68 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 91 degrees. Gang, we are in. Let's all just step back for a little bit. Let's. Anybody remember the 80s? Do you remember what's going on there? I remember really tall bangs. I remember my mom had the pantsuit with the shoulder pads, and I believe that I did have one of those. What is it? The collared shirts with the alligator on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you don't recognize that voice, well, you should. It's Christine Alcamo. Did I get Alcamo? Okay. The house manager at Auburn State Theater here. Now, Christine, here when I got here this morning. There was quite the hubbub going out in front of the theater today. Tell me a little bit about what's going on out there.
We are promoting our Cocktails and Cinema event here that will be early tomorrow. Well, we're starting early tomorrow morning.
Yes.
But essentially, we have a TV spot with Mark S. Allen from
I see him all. He was over on the other side of the street out here. He had his camera out there, and he's walking over there, and you've got the whole crew out there. You've got the table set up out there.
We got the tables. We got the.
Okay. I was gonna say, as I was walking by this morning, cheers. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I didn't know if that was real or if it was like white grape.
24 hours and it is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Even if the clock's broken, it's right twice a day. So yeah.
It was 5 p.m.
Oh yeah. So okay, that's true. So you guys were here at 5 a.m. this morning. Yeah, turns out early morning.
There we go.
So what else going on? Now we've been talking a little bit about it. We've seen it here on the calendar and been talking about it. What can folks still come? What's going on?
So unfortunately, we are sold out for Cocktails and Cinema.
Oh, great. Well, that's good news.
That's an awesome thing. Cocktails and Cinema is our annual fundraiser for Auburn State Theater. And obviously, because of what happened a little over a year ago, the fundraising is a very important thing in order to get our theater back up and running like we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, we've all been paying attention. There's been a lot of work that's been going on. We've seen construction crews go in and out there. Now, tell me again, remind us where we're at in that process and how close we are to hopefully getting everything back to normal.
So the remediation and abatement did happen. So everything that was in the theater, all the soft material is out at this point. The auditorium is filled with scaffolding. And look outside right now.
I said Mark S. Allen is right outside the window here taking pictures. He's got his headset in. I think he's trying to remember his time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the theater itself is filled with scaffolding. It's no secret that the trusses failed, and so the ceiling did fall in. The scaffolding is holding the trusses in place right now. So the next phase essentially is getting a construction crew to rebuild the trusses, shore that up, put the ceiling back in, and then we can get the seats back in and all that kind of good stuff and get back up and running.
Well, it's such a good reminder. I mean, this is a historic building. Historic buildings, it's great. It's an icon of our town here, but it needs care. It like anything that has age to it, it needs constant care and attention, and that's why this is so important that we're raising money for this.
When you're almost 100 years old,
right? Yeah.
We got to take care of ourselves.
I feel like I'm falling apart, right?
Isn't it amazing how like these aches and pains
I woke up the other morning. I'm like, my neck didn't feel like that when I went to sleep. How did I injure myself sleeping? I have no idea, but it happens.
Curl up like a little ball. And you're like,
But it is a great reminder. It is such a gem, and I love that we have this here in town. Now, here I thought I went on a business trip last year to Austin, and I thought, oh man, this is what a great little theater. It's so unique to Auburn. And then my hotel was right next to a state theater.
there are state theaters throughout all the states.
I mean, same font, same everything. I was like, oh, was this a chain? Was it a chain?
Well, I think at a certain point, and I don't have this in front of me, I think at a certain point there was, and I want to say 1920s, 1930s, there was this whole thing about, entertaining the peoples at hand.
Okay.
So each state, I believe, put in mandated entertainment centers, and so
okay. Part of let's keep the people at least somewhat entertained. Yeah, let's give them something to go to look forward to.
Exactly.
Talking to Christine Alcamo, house manager at the Auburn State Theater. We are talking about cocktails and cinema. Okay, so tell us a little bit what's on the docket for cocktails and cinema coming up. That's tomorrow, right?
That is tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
You look like you got a lot to do. Yeah.
So essentially, the party itself, we will have the State Theater Acting Company doing some jingles and certain things to entertain everybody. We have fabulous food going on, believe me. We have things happening from Trepazzi and the Station Public House and the Tavern and Real Food Catering and Port Choice. We're going to have fun.
I'm pulling out all the stops there. Now, is this samplers? Are there going to be samplers? Is this a sit-down thing?
It's a sit-down thing.
Okay.
Everybody, actually, the difference this year, people are not going to be going up to the booths to get their food. The food will be delivered directly to their tables.
Okay.
We're going to have fabulous cocktails going on and mocktails, just so everybody knows.
All right.
And it's just going to be a fun evening.
I love it. I love it. Now, normally it's out in the road here, right? Are we going to have the road blocked off?
The road is going to be blocked off. It's going to be blocked off starting, right after Almond.
Okay.
And then right up essentially to the parking lot that's across the street from Auburn State.
Yeah, right. So not to all the way to the intersection. So we won't go that far, but just
Correct.
basically in front of the theater and a little bit before and after. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Now, are we worried about the temperature at all being out there?
Well, the temperature is supposed to go down.
Yes.
So
yeah. Okay.
thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, be prepared to, be cool, but have something else just in case.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Talking to Christine Alcamo, the house manager at the Auburn State Theater. We'll be back right after these messages. Awesome. Got to make sure I got to get the promos in there. You and I could talk for days. My goodness gracious, this is fun. Okay. Anything else what should we hit? What do we want to, because we can go all the way to the top of the hour here.
So I'd like to talk about basically thanking our sponsors, everybody.
Okay.
I also want to let people know that if they do want to donate, that
Yes.
we're taking donations.
Yes, thank you. Okay, good. let's get that in there. Get this out of here. It's funny because there's a bunch of programming in here, but I can skip through a bunch of it. That basically there's some that have to play, others I can just get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, go. I don't need you.
I love queuing systems.
I know, right? I know. Go,
Skip,
get out.
Yeah.
Our conversation's way more interesting than a PSA. We don't need to hear that. Okay. I need to get your card so that way you and I can email back and forth. And
what I'll do is when I go back to my desk, I'll just email you.
Okay, perfect. And then we can have a thread. We'll just start a thread there. So, and I know you got a lot to do. So if that doesn't happen today or this week, that's fine.
Today.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And yeah, again, totally flexible on how we do it, what we do it. But yeah, I'd love to get it because I'm trying to get hey, let's do mental health Monday. Let's do trainer Tuesday, like theater Thursday, something like that. It seems gimmicky, but I think it's a lot of fun. I've had folks calling wait, I missed the training tip. What, can you play it again? Right. So let's get, it's so cool to hear that there's engagement. So that's obviously what we're looking for. So, all right, let's get this, and we'll have Mary Jane's promo, and then we'll have McCullough's, and then we'll jump right back here. Okay, so we'll talk about obviously how folks can give. What was the other one again?
Sponsors.
Sponsors.
Other,
Yeah.
all that
Okay.
stuff.
Yep. I'm going to talk to Mary Jane. Her and I have a standing, and we'll talk about what's coming up on her show this weekend.
Oh, I love that.
She's
I love
she's
her.
she's so much fun to talk to.
Yeah.
So, and she's such a pro. I mean, she's just been doing this for years. And I'm like, Mary Jane, teach me more. she's like, oh, you're fine. It's just doing it. You just got to get in there and do it. I was like, okay, all right. I appreciate it, Mary Jane.
We had great times when I did the show with her.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get the conversation going again here.
Exactly.
We'll keep it going here. All right, here we go. 5 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:55 a.m. Talking to Christine Alcamo, the house manager at the Auburn State Theater. Let's just all get in our DeLorean and go back to the 80s, shall we? Yeah. Now, we are talking about cocktails and cinema. That's happening tomorrow. I can see the checklist that's going on in your brain of everything that needs to happen.
Oh, my goodness. You have no idea.
But it's exciting. You guys always put on a great event here. Now, was it a couple years ago the Batmobile was out here? Was that how many? That was a few years back, wasn't it?
Wasn't that 4 years ago?
Maybe. Okay, time flies. Yeah, but Batmobile was it's always an event. It's always fun to watch. The road is blocked off. Tables are set up. There's always gets everybody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk a little bit about what's going on. I know we want to give a shout out to the sponsors here.
Oh, we have, I'll just say we love Auburn. We love our sponsors. We have companies like the Auburn Journal. We have Dutch Brothers. We have RJT Construction Consulting Services. We have tax planning professionals, the Cohen Defense Group, Trepazzi, Able Fire Equipment. There's so many people here.
Yeah. Well, it takes a village, right? Yeah.
All our sponsors, thank you. All our, and I have to always thank our volunteers. Our volunteers are the people that are getting us through, and they actually give quite literally their blood, sweat, and tears to help keep us going with the events that we do. So thank you.
Well, and we were talking about it, like this is like one of the big fun, or if not the biggest fundraising event for the Auburn State Theater, right? And again, it's an older building. It needs love. It needs to be taken care of. It needs to be constant maintenance and restoration that's happening here. So if folks are so inclined, are there ways that folks can give outside of a fundraiser event like this?
Yes, you can actually go onto our website, which is Auburn State Theater, and theater is spelled the fancy way, so it's THEATRE.
I love it.
.org. And you can donate online. You can always come by the office here. We can take a donation in person, or you can even call if you'd like to do that. But any money that is coming in right now is going to go to the Theater Restoration Project. And obviously, we want to get up and get. I need a job, people. I'm a house manager, and there's
the house is empty. You can't even manage.
Exactly. So come by and see what we're up to, and if you guys have seen our history and who's been through here, we've had people like Chris Kane and Max Cabello Jr. and all people.
Yeah. And for folks that might be newer to the area, or you've been here for a long time, if you've not been to an event in the theater, it's such a classic space. It's such a fantastic space to be in there, whether it's a live concert, whether it's performance, a show, something like that. It is absolutely a wonderful spot to be in. And the breezeway that's coming in here, it's just your classic theater space that we don't get something like that much anymore these days.
Exactly. And it's when you know the history and you know the history of the breezeway in particular, it's really interesting.
We'll have to find out about that. I didn't know there was more history there. We'll have to find out more about that. That's another conversation.
It is another conversation. But also we have the State Theater Acting Company who puts on fabulous things. If anybody has seen Shrek, If anybody has
Yes.
seen Drowsy Chaperone, you know what we do.
Yeah.
And we got to get those people on stage.
Okay, so I gotta. We absolutely do, because actors gotta act. It's a disease. It really is. Like we.
Fortunately or unfortunately, but I also would like to, let people know that the actors would not look as good if we did not have the tech at
Yes.
the other end to. We got talent.
Talent.
300
Stacks of talent. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. It's the unsung heroes. It's the backstage. It's the front of house. It's the back of house. For all of this, and exactly like we were saying, the volunteers, the folks that are greeting you at the door, the ushers that help you find your seat. Like, it's all of that working together in harmony that really makes for a really great time and an evening out.
And it's really about community. Really.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
theater is here to make you feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all human.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter really political affiliations or anything.
Yeah.
We're all here. We all exist, and we all have really full lives.
Well, and it's interesting to what you said about, hey, it was established back in the 20s, right? Where it's 100 years old now, as a spot for folks, yes, to receive information, but it's a tale as old as time. It's storytelling. And that's what we're trying to get back, is a place to tell stories, a place where the community can gather and be not only to give, but also to receive that. So it's so important. So I appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you, basically, for the work that you guys are doing over there to hold on to this, because this could have disappeared so long ago, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But with folks in the community, the dedication that COVID, my goodness gracious.
COVID was,
right?
ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it through? Or are we not going to make it through? Harry there.
And we're making it.
Yeah.
We're making it. We're finding our way through some interesting, and it really is like this really personal thing. And when you come out the other end, it's like, ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're just joining in, talking to Christine Alcamo, house manager at the Auburn State Theater. We're talking about cocktails and cinema. Okay, just give us one more promo for it, as folks can come in and maybe they can just wave at this point. But again, one more time. One more time, just let us know what's going on. And we just had somebody else just join in here.
My executive director, Miss Colleen Sands, is here.
Hi, Colleen.
Good morning.
Thanks for stopping in. You guys are busy over there. Yeah, we're having fun here. Okay, so one more time. Let's just give folks a heads up.
So cocktails and cinema, we are sold out, but anybody that comes by is more than welcome to wave. And if you really would like to donate towards the Theater Restoration Project, you can always walk in, go online to auburnstatetheater.org. Theater is spelled the fancy way, THEATRE.
Pinkies up in the air, people.
Exactly.
Pinkies up.
And or you can always call. So please drop by.
I love it. Okay, before we go, favorite cocktail or mocktail? I gotta know.
Ooh, the favorite. I'm a Cosmo.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
I
that.
like a Cosmo.
It's only the fancy drink, because I guess the old fashioned.
Ooh, we have those too.
Okay.
We have a full martini bar. We've got old fashions. We've got
Oh, you guys. Okay. If you missed it this year, plans for next year to come to the what it's going to be.
I hope you drop by.
I will. Yes.
Come on
Yeah.
by,
if nothing else, I'll wave.
We'll put your name on the list.
Okay. All right. I will.
I'm wrapped up by my executive director. I love this.
I love. Hey, we're getting from the top down. Here we go. All right. One more time, Christine, it has been awesome to have you here. Hey, let's do this again. We talked about doing something like Theater Thursdays or something. We'll do something like that.
I love it.
Oh, all right.
Darling.
Oh, we felt the accents now.
Theater,
all right.
Theater
You get a couple of theater kids in here. Here we go. All right. It has been a delight, a pleasure. You guys are busy. I know you've got a lot to do. You're all fancied up this early in the morning for cocktails and cinema, dressing up for radio. No, I know you guys are on TV. So, and we will be back right after this. Ladies, that was fantastic. Please, let's do this
Chris.
again.
Sorry.
I don't know why it's taken us this long
Sorry,
to connect.
I just
but
dropped in.
No,
we're going to breakfast.
Yeah,
We've been drinking since 5.
Well, that's what I said. I was asking, like, was that real champagne out there? When you guys,
Now you've met me. So
Yeah.
yes, we're going.
Okay, I'll go grab my.
Okay, awesome.
First.
Oh, you don't need it.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. I
And
appreciate it.
seriously, come by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I bring my sweetheart with me too, and we'll hang out? Okay, that'd be amazing.
I'll look out for you.
Okay.
And I'll put your name
Put
on
their
it.
names on the, what's your sweetie?
Emily.
Emily. Put their names on the list.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, I love
And
it.
then when you buy me a cocktail.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, you too.
Advertise with KAHI Radio, the voice of the foothills, and you'll reach those who matter most, your local customers or your local business. Here's Fred Penny of Penny & Associates to tell you why he uses KAHI Radio.
This is Fred Penny of Penny & Associates Injury, and I choose to advertise on AM 950 KAHI Radio because it works.
So call our KAHI sales team at 530-885-5636. That's 530-885-5636 to start your local today.
Nile is more than the name of a river in Egypt. Since the time of Sigmund Freud, the Nile has been recognized as one of the most frequently used defense mechanisms. We see it widespread again currently. Millions of folks who, without any proof or objective verification, believe a host of conspiracy theories, lies about the 2020 presidential election, and a host of other topics. So much so that it has split apart from friends and family, because they no longer share a common set of accepted beliefs. This is in large part due to the tremendous fracturing of information sources, the bane of people can live totally in rabbit holes of their own choosing, having their bogus beliefs challenged by objective reality. Of course, some have faced consequences important for their lives, from Alex Jones to Fox News and a long list of others. But the bottom line, folks, is that it's up to you, to us, to become more savvy consumers, and to question something when it seems true. Dr. Dave Davidson of Code with the Mental Health Minute, a public service of Sierra Hills Individual and Family Therapy in Auburn.
6 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:06 a.m. My thanks to Christine Alcamo, house manager at the Auburn State Theater. We were talking about cocktails and cinema coming up. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk to Leilani, who is with the SPCA. We'll find out all about their organization and more. Back to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Joe Biden returns to Normandy for a second day. Tries to rally Americans in defense of democracy from a legendary spot where Army Rangers scaled cliffs during the D-Day invasion. Biden marked the 80th anniversary of D-Day on Thursday by drawing a direct line from the fight to liberate Europe from Nazi domination to today's war against Russia's Vladimir.
We know the dark forces that these heroes fought against 80 years ago. They never fade. Aggression and greed, the desire to dominate and control, to change borders by force. These are perennial. The struggle between a dictatorship and freedom is unending. Here in Europe, we see one stark example. Ukraine has been invaded by a tyrant bent on domination. Ukrainians are fighting with extraordinary courage, suffering great losses, but never backing down. The United States and NATO and a coalition of more than 50 countries standing strong with Ukraine. We will not walk away. Because if we do, Ukraine will be subjugated and will not end there. Ukraine's neighbors will be threatened. All of Europe will be threatened. And make no mistake, the autocrats of the world are watching closely to see what happens in Ukraine. To see if we let this illegal aggression go unchecked. We cannot let that happen. To surrender to bullies, to bow down to dictators, is simply unthinkable.
D-Day was the largest amphibious assault in history. Biden calling it a lesson he prays Americans never forget.
Here, on that June morning, the testing was at hand. Just walk the rows of this cemetery as I have. Nearly 10,000 heroes buried side by side. Officers and enlisted, immigrants and native born, different races, different faiths, but all Americans. All serve with honor when America and the world needed them most. On behalf of the American people, as Commander-in-Chief, It's the highest honor to be able to salute you here in Normandy once more. All of you, God love you.
The comments by the Democratic president were a reminder that the American commitments around the globe hang in the balance during this year's presidential election as Donald Trump threatens to isolate America from its allies. Federal prosecutors are wrapping up their gun case against Hunter Biden, with 2 more witnesses expected today in their effort to prove to jurors that the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form when he said he wasn't an unlawful user or addicted to drugs. Prosecutors were still planning to call a drug expert and an FBI chemist, capping a week that's been largely dedicated to highlighting the seriousness of his drug problem through highly personal and sometimes salacious testimony. Jurors heard from his ex-wife and a former girlfriend who testified about his habitual crack use and their failed efforts to help him get clean. The head of the U.S. Secret Service says security plans for the Republican National Convention are still being determined as protesters blasted restrictions they claim will violate free speech. Roughly 30,000 are expected in Milwaukee next month when former President Donald Trump is slated to become the Republican Party's official presidential nominee. Large-scale demonstrations are expected, but how close protesters will be allowed to the downtown Fiserv Forum convention site is up in the air. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle.
For over a year, the Secret Service, the Milwaukee Police Department, the Milwaukee Fire Department, the FBI, FEMA, and many other key stakeholders have been meeting to discuss all aspects of public safety and security for the convention. The RNC will be here in just over a month and will unveil the final security plan for the perimeter in approximately 2 weeks. The Secret Service and the law enforcement here locally prepare for any potential eventuality. So we are fully prepared. We realize that there most likely will be demonstrations, but we're prepared to address those. The inner perimeter that the Secret Service is going to provide the map for in a couple of weeks, that inner perimeter will be a weapon-free zone. So anybody that comes in that is credentialed will have to pass through a magnetometer, and there will be no weapons allowed inside that zone wall.
RNC leaders have sent a letter to the Secret Service asking officials to keep protesters back farther from the site than had originally been planned, arguing that an existing plan, quote, creates an elevated and untenable safety risk to the attending public. Mayor Cavalier Johnson, spokesperson, said the city hosted online signups for groups to demonstrate, and more than 70 have done so. He said final details will come within weeks. The New York Governor Kathy Hochul is facing backlash after she halted a plan this week to charge most motorists $15 to enter the core of Manhattan, upending the nation's first ever congestion pricing system weeks before it was set to launch. The announcement dealt a stunning blow to a program years in the making.
So after careful consideration, I've come to the difficult decision that implementing the planned congestion pricing system risks too many unintended consequences for New Yorkers at this time. For that reason, I have directed the MTA to indefinitely pause the program.
The reversal sent shockwaves through the political circles while raising questions among transportation advocates about how the state will pay for badly needed transit upgrades. Protesters gathered at Hochul's office.
Are going to be hurt by this. The people on the subways are going to be hurt by this. So we just came out here today to kind of just tell the governor not to fall back and betray her promise that she made to the people. Most working class New Yorkers take public transit into the central business district. Most New Yorkers don't own a car. Reversing course is going to make more people lose faith in Democrats. Like, are you telling us what you actually want to do? Or are you trying to cater for more votes?
As the plan neared, it drew increasing pushback from commuters and officials in suburbs. Hochul, who's helping to lead Democrats' efforts to retake congressional seats in New York, has largely geared her political strategy toward addressing concerns of suburban voters.
America's First News with Matt Ray.
At Hotshot Secret, we listen to our customers. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time. Our fans call it EDT.
My name is Joe, Mississippi, and I drive a 2017 Ford 350 Passport. I've been using Hotshot Secret EDT every tank for almost 3 years.
All right, here we go.
About 1.5 to 2 miles per gallon increase.
Fox Business Report.
Diesel treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
Carl Amari here to tell
Carl
you about the
Amari.
newest website for lovers.
listeners, it's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Meadow Vista. Currently, it is 69 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today, a toasty 92. Off now to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report. Job growth came in much stronger than expected in May. The number of new jobs created rose to 272,000, though April job growth was revised lower. The unemployment rate rose to 4%. Wage growth rose. Average hourly earnings increased 0.4%. The Federal Reserve is meeting next week. The Fed's been looking for signs of the job market cooling as it considers when to start cutting interest rates. GameStop unexpectedly reported earnings this morning. Its loss was smaller than a year ago. It also revealed plans to offer more shares. The announcement came before GameStop trader Pete Gill's planned live stream video at noon Eastern Time. Netflix shareholders have approved an updated executive pay plan after the previous proposal was rejected. That's the Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Coselda, invested in you.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1876. The goal is to ensure that pets stay sheltered, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a sheltered pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at AmericanHumane.com.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to
Goes in the morning, along with Mark Ray, America's First News.
Get all the local news for traffic and local events you can handle.
Plus a healthy dose of daily bad news.
Chris in the morning with Matt Ray, 6 to 9 a.m.
Here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early. 16 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:16. We're in the next hour, 7:16 a.m. Hey, let's talk about another event for the calendar. It's a hazardous waste drop-off. This is free, gang. It's happening at the Colfax High School and Forest Hill High School. Colfax is going to be Saturday, June 15th. That's at Ben Taylor Road, and Forest Hill High School. That's at 23319 Forest Hill Road. Now, here's the acceptable items for you. You can bring cleaners, medications, sharps, batteries, pesticides, aerosol cans, compressed gas cylinders, fluorescent tubes, oil filters, paints, and auto fluids. Now, it's a max of 15 gallons or 125 pounds per vehicle. Unacceptable items include medical waste other than sharps and medications, refrigerators, ammunitions, and explosive gas cylinders larger than 5 gallons, radioactives or PCBs, tires, electronic waste like computers. You can't bring those, but you can bring cleaners, medications, sharps, batteries, pesticides, aerosol cans, compressed gas cylinders, fluorescent tubes, oil filters, paint, and auto fluids. Ooh, I have some fluorescent tubes I need to get rid of. Placer County residents, you got to show proof of ID. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. both days. Again, the 15th and the 22nd. 15th at Colfax High School, 22nd at Forest Hills High School. Hazardous waste drop-off. If you got to drop it off, go ahead and do it. It's free. Back with more right after this.
Find out on Pop Dog.
When do I go back?
Then this one will get you. Is the end of the world closer than you think? What is the fate of civilization? An internationally renowned psychic medium voice teller will certainly have some thoughts on both issues. It's Pop Dog Saturday, 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday, 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Just click on Listen.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to have Daily Dad jokes, and then later on this hour, I'll be talking to Leilani from the SPCA. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in a bit.
you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and Ad Council.
So 19 is when I go
You know
back.
the legal drinking age is 21. You may also know this law protects teens. Find out more at don'tserveteens.org.
Whoops.
A message from the We Don't Serve Teens program and the Federal Trade Commission.
Threw it back too early. Oh well.
You're listening to America's First News with Matt Ray on the TFN Network.
All right, here we go. Dad jokes. What do we got?
That's where 11 people were hospitalized. 7 smuggling suspects were arrested Thursday after authorities found more than 24 migrants who'd been driven from the border, packed in a secret compartment of a trailer, with little water and sweltering heat.
I tried to come up with a carpentry pun that would work. I think I nailed it, but nobody saw it.
This morning we received information that there was a smuggling operation in effect, that several dozen people were being smuggled. What we knew is that it was the smuggling method was some sort of a long gooseneck trailer that was being utilized. So we were able to establish surveillance on it as it was moving this way. Our undercovers from our transnational group, from the organized crime unit, were able to get eyes on the trailer as it came into the location. Obviously, not much by way of water. So
Okay.
it's the medical emergencies, the heat-related injuries that we have.
Here we go. Mail.
Had been people in a trailer.
Live.
Concern for us became what's their medical condition like. So we actually went in under exigent circumstances to safeguard, make sure that nobody within there was critical, even worse, dying. So right now, aside from the 26 victims that we have 7 suspects.
I tried to come up with a carpentry pun that would work. I think I nailed it, but nobody saw it.
So of those 11, they've all been taken to area hospitals. The remaining 19, I believe, are going to be taken in for questioning. At present, we don't know who is going to be arrested, if they have any additional going to jail as a result of the operation itself.
Salazar blamed Mexican cartels for the operation that broke up Thursday, noting bulletproof vests and rifles were found on the property. Some of the people found at the residence ran, but authorities believe they caught everyone involved. San Antonio was the site of the nation's deadliest human smuggling episode in June of 2022. 53 migrants, including 8 children, died after being trapped in a sweltering semi-trailer that had been driven from the border city of Laredo. Donald Trump returned to the campaign trail Thursday with a trip to Arizona, his first appearance in a battleground state since he was convicted in a hush money scandal, repeating his critiques of the case against him as politically motivated and calling for his conviction to be overturned on appeal.
We have to change the system. We have to straighten out what's going on in the sports. We got a rigged deal going this whole country, and we've got to do it. And those appellate courts have to step up and straighten things out, or we're not going to have a country any longer. But we're going to win the great state of Arizona, and we're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're doing a lousy job, the worst job.
We all know where the Big Apple is, but does anyone know where the Minneapolis is? Where Minneapolis? Where Minneapolis? Where the Big Apple is, but does anyone know where Minneapolis?
He made an absurd claim about migrants speaking languages nobody's ever heard of while pushing the Great Replacement theory.
I would be the first one that would have done it. And I wouldn't be having 50% jail populations. I'd be down to 0. They'd all be in the United States of America getting money for all of the different things that they get. They get cell phones, they get hospitalization, they get education, even though they can't speak a word, taking the seats of people, and the instructors talking English, and have somebody speaking, in some cases, languages that we've never even heard of. You know, there are a lot of languages that we don't have here. We have nobody that even speaks these languages.
Trump been criticizing President Joe Biden's executive action on the border this week, called Biden weak and pathetic. Biden hit back on ABC News.
Is he describing himself? Weak and pathetic? Look, everybody knows what's happening. We had a deal. It was much broader than this, much better, much more accepted across the board. And he got on the phone and told the Republicans, don't support it. It will hurt me, it will help Biden. But one thing for certain is stop undermining the rule of law. Stop undermining institutions. That's what this whole effort is. All the MAGA Republicans are coming out saying this was a fix, this was a jury, that this was a judge that set up to get Trump. There's no evidence of any of that. None. He's trying to undermine it. Like, he got a fair trial. The jury spoke like they speak in all cases, and it should be respected.
It's unclear if Biden's efforts will be enough to change the minds of voters who've increasingly voiced a record influx of migrants on his watch. Polls have found immigration and border security to be a top issue this election year. Biden's executive action has also laid bare divisions among Democrats. Leading lawmakers and immigration advocates that form a key part of his coalition. Longtime ally of former President Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, must report to prison by July 1st to serve his 4-month sentence for defying a subpoena from the House committee that investigated the U.S. Capitol insurrection. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols in Washington granted the Justice Department's request to make Bannon begin his prison term after a federal appeals court panel last month upheld his contempt of Congress conviction. Bannon blames a political conspiracy theory for his legal problem, making inane assumptions as he took a victory lap for being sent to jail.
Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, the entire Justice Department. They're not going to shut up Trump. They're not going to shut up Navarro. They're not going to shut up Bannon, and they're certainly not going to shut up MAGA. If you look right here, you reporters, in the 2.5 or 3 years we've been here, look at the rise of MAGA. Look at the rise of Donald Trump. If the election was held today, according to Harry Enton over at CNN, President Trump would win in a landslide. All of this, besides the major legal issues that have to be addressed, all of this is about one thing. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement, shutting down grassroots conservatives, shutting down President Trump. Not only are we winning, we are going to prevail. There's not a prison built. There's not a prison built that will ever shut me up.
Bannon likely won't be able to do his podcast from jail. He's expected to seek a stay of the judge's order, which could delay his surrender date. Boeing's new capsule arrived at the International Space Station on Thursday, delayed by last-minute thruster trouble that almost derailed the docking for the first test flight with astronauts. The 260-mile-high link-up over the Indian Ocean culminated in a day of continuing drama for Boeing's flight debut, carrying NASA test pilots Butch Wilmore and Sydney Williams.
The spacecraft is now aligned with the International Docking Adapter on the No. 2 forward port today. Teams on the ground hot-fired 4 of the reaction control system thrusters. These are located on the service module. And we are coming up on 30 meters from the International Space Station and getting a beautiful view now of the Starliner as it continues its approach.
Capsule already had one small helium leak when it rocketed into Wednesday. Boeing and NASA managers were confident they could manage the propulsion system despite the problem that more leaks were unlikely. Thrusters also malfunctioned. SpaceX's NASA taxi service began in 2020. Boeing was supposed to start around the same time, but it's been held for years by safety concerns and other troubles. Thousands of North Carolinians waiting to receive their driver's license could get their new cards by the end of the month. Thursday by the North Carolina Division of Motor Vehicles. More than 350,000 physical licenses and ID cards have been delayed for up to 8 weeks, but the North Carolina Division of Motor Vehicles Commissioner said during the State House Oversight and Reform Committee that the end of the backlog may be in sight possibly before June 30th. A coding error in February impacted about 2,100 cards, which resulted in the card manufacturer Idemia pausing production for at least a week. When production began again, the DMV had a 12-day backlog for credentials. Since then, Idemia added a second production facility, helping reduce the backlog. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. You've got America's First News. Good Friday morning.
Breaking news first, America's First News. With Matt Ray. We'll be right back.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton, like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can say. This is a very, very smart use in 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40. This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshare. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years, stuck in the endless cycle.
20 seconds, Adam!
Could take decades. You have the right to get your debt
Here we go.
and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently, it is 71 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 94 degrees. All right, here we go. It is time for your Friday Daily Dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, most likely roll your eyes. You can send me yours live at KAHI.com like Stephanie and Matt did, or you can call me 530-885-3565. Checking the inbox here from Stephanie M. We all know where the Big Apple is, but does anyone know where Minneapolis? Little late on the rim shot there, producer Adam. Okay, I think we all had to think about that for a second. Let's try that again. We all know where the Big Apple is, but does anyone know where the Minneapolis? Still thinking about it. Okay, Minneapolis. Got it. Okay, how about this one from Matt R. What generation does Forrest Gump belong to? Gen A. Gen A, get it? There we go. What generation does Forrest Gump belong to? Gen A. Okay, here we go. Got another one for you. I tried to come up with a carpentry pun that would work. I think I nailed it. But nobody saw it. Oh, that's too many rim shots. All right, and let's just do a couple more just for summer here as the weather's starting to get warm here. What did the ocean say to the lifeguard? Nothing. It just waved. I honestly did not read that until just now. That's the first time I read that. Oh, what part of the fish weighs the most? The scales. Oh, what kind of tree fits in your hand? A palm tree. And those have been your Daily Dad jokes. I needed that. That was good. For this Friday, June 7th. At KAHI.com or call. Adam, go to commercial. We'll be back right after this. I'm Kickley. Oh, I just got the giggles. That's good. Good morning. Thanks for joining in. Meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, you're up.
Good Friday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies. Still rather hot today, but a little bit cooler. Temperatures in the low 90s, and the southwest wind up to maybe 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear, 55 to 62 overnight, and a little bit cooler for the weekend. Mostly sunny Saturday and Sunday. We'll be in the mid-upper 80s each afternoon, and light southwest winds. This is meteorologist Tim Root, FM 104.5 and AM 950, KAHI.
This is Stephen Hill.
This is Stephen Hill. Get charge of space.
Here on the all-new FM 104.5 and AM 950, KAHI. The same voice of the foothills, more powerful than ever.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to be talking to the CEO of Placer SPCA, Leilani. Yeah, we're going to be chatting with her, find out a little bit about animal welfare, what's going on there as well. And later on in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll be talking to Mary Jane Pop. That's right, Mary Jane and I will have our normal Friday conversation. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
34 minutes past the hour. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to address a joint meeting of Congress on July 24th.
Freitas? Leilani Freitas?
A contentious speech at a crucial moment during Israel-Hamas war. Congressional leaders confirmed at the date of the address late Thursday after formally inviting Netanyahu to come speak before lawmakers last week. It is the most recent show of wartime support for the longtime ally, despite mounting political divisions over Israel's military assault on Hamas in Gaza. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said CIA Director Bill Burns was in Doha this week, consulting with Qatar's Prime Minister about ongoing negotiations.
I should probably have their website up here. Placer SPCA. See what's going on here. Pet food pantry. Cycle.
They think it's just better to let the war and suffering and the violence continue.
Companion connection. Click here to read about our newsletter. SNAP, Spay Neuter Assistance Program.
They see that the best pathway to an end to this
Good
war,
pup.
the return of all the hostages, a surge of humanitarian assistance.
Welcome donations. Okay. Yep.
President Biden touched on this in his speech on Friday, and what he said was straightforward. A ceasefire in Gaza can lead to a calm.
All right. We got that.
Lebanon, an end to the exchanges of fire that.
Got that.
Beyond that, have caused death and destruction on both sides of the border.
And get rid of that.
Palestinians in central Gaza
Get rid of that.
including 12 women and children, according to local health officials. The Israeli military said Hamas militants were operating from within the schools. It was the latest instance of mass casualties among Palestinians refugees as Israel expands its offensive.
Are you affiliated with ASPCA or do you receive funding from them? How are you funded? The animals available for adoption right now.
Humanitarian operations face a dire lack of funding. Martin Griffith told a news conference the world is worse now than it was just
Standing here about ready to break ground for the new veterinary and foster care center. Tell us about the new facility, how it's going to help. Okay.
I leave this job with a sense of work unfulfilled because the world is a worse place now than when I joined up in 2021. The humanitarian situation in Sudan has grown worse, and it is a place where
she should be calling
two
in
men
3
basically
minutes.
decided that they were going to resolve their differences through fighting, that they were going to take the country down, that we have a situation where highly likely we will have up to 5 million Sudanese people at risk of famine. So we are not resolving conflicts. We are not using dialogue where we had committed ourselves to using dialogue. And the founders of the UN back in 1945, in those words of the Charter, saving subsequent generations from the scourge of war, we're failing them. Right, left, and center.
Griffith said some 300 million people worldwide need humanitarian assistance as donor funding has been reduced, noting big crises in Gaza, Sudan, and Ukraine are taking the spotlight while suffering continues in Syria, Yemen, and Haiti. Fresh from declaring victory in India's election, Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered few details on the agenda for his third term, but went out of his way to underline he would continue to focus on raising the country's military preparedness and clout. That should come as good news to the United States and its other allies as they focus increasingly on keeping China's sweeping maritime claims and growingly assertive behavior in the Indo-Pacific region in check. Modi told a crowd of supporters at his party's headquarters after election results came in, the government will focus on expanding defense production and exports. Turning to sports this morning, and Jaylen Brown had 22 points. Kristaps Porzingis added 20 in his first game in more than a month, and the Boston Celtics powered past the Dallas Mavericks 107-89 Thursday night in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Despite the lopsided score, Jason Tatum told ESPN's Lisa Saunders Boston had to regain control in the third quarter.
I say it all the time. It's a game of runs. This is the NBA Finals. They're not going to go away easy. And we just have to respond. We did a really good job of that.
Luka got his, but no one else really did, and he had just one assist, wasn't really able to facilitate. What were you guys doing defensively just to kind of limit his game?
I mean, obviously, somebody like that will score and get his points. Our job is to try to limit the other guys as much as we possibly can.
You've talked about how your game has grown, how you don't have to be consumed with scoring to dominate a game. You finished with 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. What are you most proud of about your personal performance?
That we won. I had way too many turnovers. I got to be a lot better, but we took care of the job tonight, get some rest, watch film, and see if we can do better for game 2.
Derek White had 15 points for Boston, which led by 29 in the first half and connected on 16 threes in a powerful start to its quest for an 18th NBA title. Porzingis, who had been sidelined since April 29th with a strained right calf, came off the bench and provided an immediate spark, adding 6 boards and 3 blocks in 21 minutes. Iga Swiatek continued her mastery over Coco Gauff and extended her winning streak in Paris to 20 matches with a 6-2, 6-4 victory in the French Open semifinals Thursday. The number 1 Swiatek improved to 11-1 overall against number 3 Gauff, reigning U.S. Open champ who got into it with the chair umpire.
Question, isn't it?
Swiatek, who turned at 23 last week, is trying to earn her 4th championship in 5 years at the French Open and can become the first woman with 3 in a row since Justine Henin from 2005 to 07. For number 12, Jasmine Paolini of Italy, this will be her first Grand Slam final. She's never even made it past the second round in any of her initial 16 appearances at majors until getting into the 4th round at the Australian Open in June.
I'm excited about
Despite Caitlin Clark's selection as the WNBA Rookie of the Month in May, she and her Indiana teammates have dealt with all kinds of frustration. A challenging schedule, limited practice time, and the rookies' seemingly league-wide unwelcoming commitment. The Fever had 4 days off to try to right the ship. Last Saturday's run, Chicago Skyguard Kennedy Carter created such a buzz that UConn coach Gino Ariana told ESPN he believes Clark is being targeted and getting beat up. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who helped develop the WNBA, said Clark is being treated like others before her, only there's a nuance.
I'll leave the specific question to my colleague, Commissioner. I mean, other than as a fan, obviously, it's not nothing new in basketball. There's welcome to league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league. I say, seems like she can take care of herself. She's a tough player. I think it may be lost on some people who are new to basketball in terms of a little bit of the controversy in the WNBA. What an incredible talent she is. 2 Final Fours, leading scorer in the history of college basketball. So I look forward to watching her ongoing development in the league. I think ultimately this is very healthy for women's basketball in the WNBA. It's generating tremendous additional interest. In fairness to the other players and in fairness to Commissioner Engelbert, this didn't just start this year. Certainly, we're seeing an acceleration of it with Caitlin, but many individual stars who came in this league in the last several years, and then again, I've been with the league for a long time, so I was there the early days with Val Ackerman and of course David Stern when we developed the WNBA. And in some ways, to me, this was a long time coming.
Clark is less than 2 months away from finishing a 39-game college season that resulted in a second straight national runner-up finish with Iowa. Indiana are 0-6 against the WNBA's top 3 teams, compared with 2-3 against everybody else. And Kansas City Chiefs backup B.J. Thompson was taken to a hospital in stable condition Thursday after the defensive lineman experienced a cardiac event during a team meeting. The Chiefs planned to wrap up their voluntary offseason workouts yesterday, but a spokesperson said practice would be pushed to today. That's when Chiefs coach Andy Reid will address the media. The 27-year-old Thompson was a fifth-round pick for the Chiefs last year. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media. I'm at Matt Ray Talk. More on the way on this
All right.
Friday morning. We are just
Here we go.
Grab a coffee.
Let's go.
You're listening to America's First News.
America's First News, coast to coast with Matt Ray.
In 2024, the American Heart Association celebrates 100 years of life-saving service as the world's leading nonprofit organization focused on heart and brain health. Heart disease still kills more people in the United States each year than all types of cancer combined, but more than half of Americans don't know this fact, according to a recent Harris Poll survey conducted for the American Heart Association. However, the majority of heart disease is preventable. New research has improved the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of
Yeah, I don't
heart
listen.
disease,
I leave. I'm like, I'm out.
efforts led by the American
Not
Heart
listening to that.
Association have reduced deaths from heart disease by half over the
Okay.
past century. And
Leilani
heart disease
Freitas,
lives longer and more
CEO of
productive
Placer
lives while managing your condition and
SPCA.
risk factors. To learn more about the American Heart Association's Century of Service and how you can help, visit heart.org/centennial.
Here we go.
We are the entertainment you love.
5 seconds, Adam.
The that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your community. We are broadcasters.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Colfax. Currently, it is 74 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 92 degrees. Gang, we are in for a treat today. Our dance card is absolutely full today. And right now, we are talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. Leilani, good morning. Did I get your last name right? I always have anxiety when I'm pronouncing people's names. Okay, good. You are on the dance card today. We've got a full morning and excited to talk to you. Now, we've been lining up this interview for a little bit here and just want to find out a little bit about, about you, kind of how you got to your role here. But first, we'd love to know just a little bit about the history of Placer SPCA for our listeners that might not know and how it serves the Placer County community. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, well said, and yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a huge loss, and obviously a lot of us are thinking about her and thinking about the family and the kids and her partner there. So yeah, appreciate that. Mm. Oh.
In Placer County. And they didn't have any place to operate from. So they literally were volunteers who were had animals in their own homes, caring for animals in their own homes. Basically standing outside of a retail center with a tin.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah. Interesting. Talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. Now, Leilani, tell me a little bit about, I see here that you've got a 4-star rating from Charity Navigator. Is that right? What does that represent? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm. Yeah, always important. Always folks are like, hey, I'm giving my money here. Like, I want to, is it just all going to administrative costs? Is it actually going to help the animals? Is it actually helping to go to the actual mission of the organization? And that is an important. So that's very cool to see that you guys have that. Now, want to know a little bit about you. Now, it's kind of funny. When you see somebody doing a job or a position, you think, well, they must be passionate about it, right? They must be wanting to do that for some reason. Now, for you, in your particular instance, whether that's true or not, for you, I actually hear the passion in your voice. So I've got to imagine this is something that's been with you for a while, that maybe you've been passionate about for a while. Can you just tell us a little bit about your journey there, maybe how you got involved in animal welfare and your journey to being CEO of the organization there? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yes. Mm. Oh. Mm. Mm. Fantastic, fantastic. And just tell me a little bit. I would just love to know. Probably give me a high point of one of your days. Is it just getting and going to see all of the animals? Is it getting to talk to people? What's one of the high points of your day as CEO there? Mm, 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 mm. Oh, wow. Mm. Talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. Now, Leilani, it seems like in the news, and I don't know what it was about this week, where there were just a few stories of animals that were in less than ideal situations or being abused or something like that. Tell me a little bit about maybe the greatest needs that you're seeing these days for animal welfare, and how is Placer SPCA meeting those needs? Mm. Mm-hmm. Ah. Mm-hmm. Mm. 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 Yeah, I love to hear that. If folks are interested, they can go to placerspca.org, placerspca.org to find out more information. Talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. We're going to break for commercials. We will be back right after this.
Highway 80 in Newcastle. This year, it's time to spray the weeds, lay down the fertilizer, and soon time to plant the pastures. Fix or replace the fence. Ever hear the term good fences make great neighbors? Well, it's true. Bring your plan to Placer Farm Supply, and our knowledgeable staff will get you started. We've got your critters covered too, from livestock and poultry to cat and dog. We can feed them all. Placer Farm Supply, Different Barn on Highway 80 in Newcastle. Come see us for all your critter and farming and ranching needs.
Be sure to listen to the Garden Goddesses Saturday mornings at 8 right here on the Voice of the Women.
And this is Cindy from the Garden Goddesses. Thanks for being a loyal listener, and please join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills, and we will teach you all we know about gardening.
I've learned so much myself. I've only been here a few months. You can learn so much on the show. It is a good show.
Absolutely. So join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
Right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
At McCullough's department store, you don't have to battle for a parking space. Parking is very close to the front door, and you don't need a membership card to get inside to do your shopping. McCullough, Auburn's department store, has everything you need right now for the warmer weather: shorts, t-shirts, Levi's, slip-on sneakers, and much more, all on sale. So save money, time, and gas by shopping at McCullough's, the Auburn Town Center, right off the bat.
Wow, 2023 summer home insurance soared out of control, forcing many people to actually contemplate selling their home. Brandon Harris here to say it's not all doom and gloom. At Homer Insurance, you'll talk to real insurance experts that have real solutions. We work with dozens of real estate companies helping their agents solve problems every day. If you think you're paying too much, give us a crack and call Homer Insurance today at 916-339-7070. 916-339-7070.
2 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:58 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Hey, good morning to you, Placerville. Currently 75 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today of 92 degrees. If you're just joining us, I'm chatting with Leilani Freitas. She is the CEO of Placer SPCA. Leilani, so awesome to talk to you. Now, we reported on this, it was a few weeks back, but you guys are growing there, actually getting ready to break ground on a new facility. Is that right? Sure. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Incredible. Mm. Wow. That is a huge accomplishment. Leilani, put that on the CV there. Fundraising is not easy. Doing a building project is not easy. I've been a part of organizations where we have done to do that, a fundraising campaign, capital building campaign. So congrats to you. Hats off to you. I know there's still more to get across the finish line, but that is awesome. Awesome to hear that. Awesome work that's going on there. So uh, I bet you guys are proud to be able, and again, it's like, yeah, we're doing this, but it's the services that you're able to offer, right? That are helping the community, helping the animals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I would love to hear. I mean, obviously, it's about the animals, and there's animals that are available for adoption. Are there just any day somebody can just come in and adopt an animal? What animals are available? What does that adoption process look like if folks are looking to adopt? Mm. 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 Well, and I got to tell you, when we adopted our cat Lacey, we did the same thing. It was a little meet and greet to see if she was going to be a good fit for the family. Leilani, you want to guess who the first person that she went to, snuggled right up to, who was not a cat person when we went in to meet her? Yeah, she went right to me. Yeah, so that was and there was no going back after that. She's our kitty cat. We've had her for about a couple of years, almost 3 years now, and love having her there. She brought a squirrel into the house the other day, Leilani. And then a full-on blue jay, I think. So she's a little huntress. Yeah. So okay, but but we love her still. Hey, we've got about a minute left here. So talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. Leilani, how can folks, our listeners, help out if they're so inclined? Mm. Oh. I love it. Leilani, let's give the contact information one more time in case folks are looking for you there. Fantastic. Is there a phone number that they can call, or is the website the best place to go to find all of those resources? Love it. Talking to Leilani Freitas, CEO of Placer SPCA. Leilani, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Let's do it again sometime. All right. Thanks so much for your time today. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
You're listening to America's First News with Matt Ray on the TNA
Leilani? That was awesome. Thank you so much. That was really great to chat with you. So I appreciate all the information and then letting our listeners know how they can get a hold of it. So that was great.
Normandy for a second day during his trip to France as he tries to rally Americans in defense of democracy from a legendary spot along the coast where Army Rangers Gail.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll keep in contact with Dan because next time you guys have an event coming up, a fundraising event or something like that, I know I've been seeing it on the website there. Let's chat and we can promo that and get folks on board for that as well. Awesome. All right, thanks, Leilani. Have a great rest of your day.
Aggression and greed.
Okay, talk to you there.
The desire to dominate and control, to change borders by force. These are perennial. The struggle between a dictatorship and freedom is unending.
Okay, Mary Jane.
Here in Europe, we see one stark example.
0-0.
Ukraine has been invaded by a tyrant bent on domination. Ukrainians are fighting with extraordinary courage, suffering great losses, but never backing down. The United States and NATO and a coalition of more than 50 countries standing strong with Ukraine. We will not walk away. Because if we do, Ukraine will be subjugated and will not end there. Ukraine's neighbors will be threatened. All of Europe will be threatened. And make no mistake, the autocrats of the world are watching closely to see what happens in Ukraine. See if we let this illegal aggression go unchecked. Happen. To surrender to bullies, down to dictators, is simply unthinkable.
D-Day was the largest amphibious assault in history. Biden calling it a lesson he prays Americans never forget.
Here, on that June morning, the testing was at hand. Just walk the rows of this cemetery as I have. Nearly 10,000 heroes buried side by side. Officers and enlisted, native born, different races, different faiths, but all Americans. All serve with honor when America and the world needed them most.
On behalf of the American people, as Commander-in-Chief, it's the highest honor to be able to salute you here in Normandy once more. All of you, God love you.
The comments by the Democratic president were a reminder that the American commitments around the globe hang in the balance during this year's presidential election as Donald Trump threatens to isolate America from its allies. Federal prosecutors are wrapping up their gun case against Hunter Biden, with 2 more witnesses expected today in their effort to prove to jurors that the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form when he said he wasn't an unlawful user or addicted to drugs. Prosecutors were still planning to call a drug expert and an FBI chemist, capping a week that's been largely dedicated to highlighting the seriousness of his drug problem through highly personal and sometimes salacious testimony. Jurors heard from his ex-wife and a former girlfriend who testified about his habitual crack use and their failed efforts to help him get clean. The head of the U.S. Secret Service says security plans for the Republican National Convention are still being determined as protesters blasted restrictions they claim will violate free speech. Roughly 30,000 are expected in Milwaukee next month when former President Donald Trump is slated to become the Republican Party's official presidential nominee. Large-scale demonstrations are expected, but how close protesters will be allowed to the downtown Fiserv Forum convention site is up in the air. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle.
For over a year,
Good.
the Secret Service,
Okay, I'm excited for our
Milwaukee Police Department, Milwaukee Fire Department, the FBI, FEMA, and many other key stakeholders have been meeting to discuss all aspects of public safety and security for the convention. The RNC will be here in just over a month and will unveil the final security plan for the perimeter in approximately 2 weeks. The Secret Service and the law enforcement here locally prepare for any potential eventuality. So we are fully prepared. We realize that there most likely will be demonstrations, but we're prepared to address those. Inner perimeter that the Secret Service is going to provide the map for in a couple of weeks, that inner perimeter will be a weapon-free zone. So anybody that comes in that is credentialed will have to pass through a magnetometer, and there will be no weapons allowed inside that zone at all.
RNC leaders have sent a letter to the Secret Service asking officials to keep protesters back farther from the site than had originally been planned, arguing that an existing plan, quote, creates an elevated and untenable safety risk to the attending public. Mayor Cavalier Johnson, spokesperson, said the city hosted online signups for groups to demonstrate, and more than 70 have done so. He said final details will come within weeks. The New York Governor Kathy Hochul is facing backlash after she halted a plan this week to charge most motorists $15 to enter the core of Manhattan, upending the nation's first ever congestion weeks before it was set to launch. The announcement dealt a stunning blow to a program years in the making.
So after careful consideration, I've come to the difficult decision that implementing the planned congestion pricing system risks too many unintended consequences for New Yorkers at this time. For that reason, I have directed the MTA to indefinitely pause the program.
The reversal sent shockwaves through the political circles while raising questions among transportation advocates about how the state will pay for badly needed transit upgrades. Protesters gathered at Hochul's office.
Are going to be hurt by this. The people on the subway are going to be hurt by this. So we just came out here today to kind of just tell the governor not to fall back and betray her promise that she made to the people. Most working class New Yorkers take public transit into the central business district. Most New Yorkers don't own a car. Reversing course is going to make more people lose faith in Democrats. Like, are you telling us what you actually want to do? Or are you trying to cater for more votes?
As the plan here drew increasing pushback from commuters and officials in suburbs. Hochul, who's helping to lead Democrats' efforts to retake congressional seats in New York, has largely geared her political strategy toward addressing concerns of suburban voters.
America's First News with Matt Ray.
For veterans concerned about their alcohol or drug use, seeking help can be the first step toward recovery. Dr. Joseph Liberto, National Mental Health Director for Substance Use Disorders with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
There we go.
More.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, Leilani was great.
The VA is committed to letting every veteran know.
Okay.
Substance use disorder,
Mary
combined with
Jane.
physical and mental health, but it can be treated. There are thousands of veterans in recovery.
We got 5
VA's
minutes.
Today I Am campaign highlights real stories from veterans describing how treatment, support, and resources help them improve their mental health and their lives.
VA has programs to treat substance use disorder at facilities throughout the country. We also offer telehealth services. A better, fuller life is possible. Today, you can start on the path toward recovery.
To learn more, visit maketheconnection.net/MHM.
And good Friday morning to you. It is Friday, June 7th. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Nevada City. Currently 77 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 90 degrees. Gang, it is Friday. That means it's time to talk with Mary Jane Pop. Hey, good morning. How are you? Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, do you remember a few years ago there were somebody bought billboards and said that the end of the world was happening and it was a particular date. I remember that it was all over town somewhere and they were called, it was in March or May, a month that began with an M, I think. But and we're all like, okay, well, we'll see. Well, we did. That is true. Yeah, maybe maybe I should make sure. Yeah, maybe I should make sure the house is clean or something.
His name is Dr. John Mills. He's a psychoanalyst, a clinical psychologist, philosopher, and honorary professor at the Department of Psychosocial and Psychoanalytic Studies at the University of Essex in the UK.
Oh,
so he's not a,
yeah, he's a university guy. Okay. Well, I feel she's already a little angry, but yeah. 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 Okay, I haven't. I've never gone down that path. I kind of think that's kind of woo-woo stuff and everything like that, but I'm listening. You have my attention. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that's the one that we're all thinking, like, I don't want to pull that card. Ah. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Is there a school? Is there a university they go to? Do we know how they get all the and hopefully they get it right. They're not like, well, hey, I've got the assistant in here that is gonna pull the card for you. Well, probably not. Yeah. Yeah, that didn't happen. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Mm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Do you have a tarot ace up your sleeve? What is that? What does that look like? Yeah, for sure. Do they now? You might cover this in your conversation with him, but is it a game of chance? Do they think that like you're predestined to get this card? Like the cards are speaking for themselves. It's not a thing of chance. Like they are what they are. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and I guess I'm interviewing them by interviewing you, but is it considered the same thing like astrology, or is that something? Are the stars different than the cards? Do they make a distinction there? Do you know, Mary Jane? They're different. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Best in rifles.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, interesting. We downgraded a planet. I can't. Was it Pluto or Neptune? I think we downgraded one, but maybe it was upgraded again. Yeah. Yeah. So we're on the fence. Which one is it? My elementary school diorama or whatever, my thing of the planet. So I got to go back and modify it yet or not. I don't know. Right. Wow. Interesting. Hmm. That's a good question. Yeah. Oh, I got to tell you, I mentioned it earlier in the show today. I set up a meeting yesterday, and it was an outdoor meeting. And I was not dressed. There were umbrellas and there were misters around. I was not dressed appropriately for this. I was in a black polo shirt and dark long pants and high socks and shoes. I'm sitting there, and I'm about 15 minutes into this meeting. I know. Well, I thought we sat underneath the umbrella, but the umbrella wasn't exactly covering. It was covering my head, but not the rest of my body. And so, about 15 minutes into this meeting, I'm just pouring sweat. I'm trying to hide it. I'm trying to wipe away the sweat with napkins, but it just did not work. So I had to. Okay, I did, and I knew there were going to be umbrellas there, but the umbrella. Okay, well, I came straight from work, so I was at work, and then I went to this meeting. It was just all in the. I know, I know. I could. I made a bad decision yesterday, Mary Jane. It didn't work out. It did. I acknowledge. Yes, it did not work out. So, but yes, it's been a little toasty this week. Come to find. And on top of it all, the meeting, it was the hottest part of the day. It was at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, insult to injury. Yeah, I've made better decisions in my life, Mary Jane. That was not one of my shining moments. Okay, all right, okay. Oh, I don't know how many. I don't know. There we go. There it is. I I I bring them all day. I had to think about this one. I said this one a little bit earlier today. We all know where the Big Apple is, but does anybody know where the Mini Apple is? Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Yours were way better compared to mine. Oh my gosh. Right. Yeah. Yeah. My grandparents, they had 5 acres when I was growing up. They had a beautiful garden outside. I mean, this thing was a piece of work that they spent years and years cultivating, and we just look forward to it all the time. And my grandma she would dry basil from the chandeliers in the living room. So you would just walk in, and I swear you would just have to just breathe in the air inside of the house there, and you would just feel my Italian grandmother. Yeah, just feeling. So I believe okra was in the mix there too. I don't remember it specifically, but yes, I think I have had okra before. Oh, we've got yes. My wife is very much a plant person for sure. Yes. Do you know what plant is doing best in our bedroom right? It moves throughout the year, but the plant in our bedroom right now, guess what it is? Poinsettia. Oh boy, has it ever. Yeah. Didn't make it. That might be on me. I might have to take ownership of that. Oh. Oh. You you get points for trying, Mary Jane. You get points for trying. Yes. Yeah, right? We've got little sprouts that we've got going right in the kitchen there as well. And my wife just comes and she'll just cut off the sprouts just right there and add them to the food. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Well, the boys our kids are on that. The boys are tasked with that. When I can, I'm kind of in and out throughout most of the day, but the kids are taking care of it. Okay. Fair. Well, I don't want to take the pleasure away from the children. Yeah. There's something to that. And I actually going to tell you, so we have plants on I love the plants on our front patio. We've got a ledge and it kind of just screens in our patio and it creates that privacy space. I absolutely love going out, seriously, going out and watering the plants. It is something that is so therapeutic about going out there and just spending time and watering them, kind of washing them off. And I do it, every other day. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. That is good. I love that. Can I throw one your way as well? Okay, here we go. This is from Prince. You might have remember him. He was an American singer-songwriter. Birthday today, born in 1958. Yeah, he passed away in 2016. From Prince, he said, "Compassion is an action word with no boundaries." Yeah, not a good one. Please, right? Yeah, let's let's write it with that. Yes. Yeah. Anytime, anytime. Mary Jane, it has been lovely chatting with you. I love our little Friday dates here where we get to chat. Let's do it again next week. How about that? All right. Yeah, good advice. Good advice, especially when it's 100 degrees outside. Thanks, Mary Jane. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
And associates, when you or a family member have been injured in an accident, what should you look for in a personal injury lawyer?
Thanks, Mary Jane.
Personal injury law firm that's actually taking care
I enjoy it's the highlight of my week, honestly. I always look forward to it. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
At Perry Associates, we're experienced trial lawyers, and we work with you to get the best results. Go to perryassociates.com or call 800-616-4529.
Does your electricity bill shock you? Trim that bill down by changing your rate plan. Matching your electric usage to the right rate plan can save you money. Visit pge.com/rate analysis to compare rate plans to see if you can save. Take a bite out of your electricity bill. Check your rate plan today. This money-saving tip
brought to you by Pioneer Community Energy.
Good morning in Fort Tennessee. Mostly sunny skies. Still rather hot today, but a little bit cooler. Temperatures in the low 90s, and the southwest wind up to maybe 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear, 55 to 62 overnight, and a little bit cooler for the weekend. Mostly sunny Saturday and Sunday. You'll be in the mid-upper 80s each afternoon, and light southwest winds. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
You can see them at night. Every day they steal from you. Any device with a digital display and light steals energy. They may only steal a little bit, but like drops of water in a bucket, it adds up and you pay. Stop energy theft. Computers when not in use. Use a power strip for charging and turn the strip off when done. Stop energy thieves and save. Brought to you by Pioneer Community Energy.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:33 a.m. Gang, we have had a full day together, haven't we? My thanks to Mary Jane Pott for calling in. Christine Alcamo, there we go. Man, every time, last name gets me every time. Christine Alcamo from the Auburn State Theater and Leilani Freitas from SPCA, Placer SPCA. Woo! Boy, what a full day. Our dance card was full today. Hey, as a reminder, the A's are playing today. They're starting a home series against the Toronto Blue Jays. You can catch it here. Radio start time is at 6 o'clock tonight First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. tonight. A's here on KAHI. Until we meet again on Monday, everybody have a fantastic weekend. And as always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself. And remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday morning.
America's first news continues 34 minutes past the hour. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to address a joint meeting of Congress on July 24th, setting the stage for what's expected to be a contentious speech at a crucial moment for the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Congressional leaders confirmed the date of the address late Thursday after formally inviting Netanyahu to come speak before lawmakers last week. It is the most recent show ally, despite mounting political divisions over Israel's military Hamas in Gaza. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said CIA Director Bill Burns was in Doha this week, consulting with Qatar's Prime Minister about ongoing negotiations. The proposal as described.
Yes, it was a busy morning. That was a good one, though. Christine Alcamo. Christine Alcamo. Got to remember that. Christine Alcamo. I thought you were watching me. Yeah, like, type the replies. Okay, Melissa, you're going to have to call me. I can't get that message out. Leilani. I played Fred Penny. Okay, yeah, we got that. So that, Leilani Freitas. We got that. All right, Dan saying thank you. I'm going to keep this for now just so I can remember her name. I need to get to work quick. Okay, let's go back to. There we go. I've got a load of time for seniors too. There's so much to do. Here we go.
Exchanges of fire that have destabilized and caused death and destruction on both sides of the border. An Israeli strike early Thursday on a school sheltering displaced Palestinians in central Gaza killed at least 33 people, including 12 women and children, according to local health officials.
15% left on the iPad.
Were operating from within the school.
Just
was
me.
The latest instance of mass casualties among Palestinians.
Okay.
Israel expands its offensive. The United Nations top humanitarian official was leaving his post at the end of the month, feeling frustrated because many crises no longer make the headlines. While humanitarian operations face a dire lack of funding. Martin Griffith told a news conference the world is worse now than it was just 3 years ago, as international dialogue is broke down and too many are interested in power rather than helping.
I leave this job with a sense of work unfulfilled because the world is a worse place now than when I joined up in 2021. The humanitarian situation in Sudan has grown worse, and it is a place where two men basically decided that they were going to resolve their differences through fighting. That they were going to take the country down.
Okay.
That we have a situation where highly likely we will have up to 5 million Sudanese people at risk of famine. So we are not resolving conflicts. We are not using dialogue where we have committed ourselves to using dialogue. And the founders of the UN back in 1945, those words that Trump is saving subsequent generations from the scourge of war.
Okay, bye.